That's why we are one in the body of Christ. That's why the Bible describes us as children of God, as brothers and sisters. Why? Because it emphasizes relationships among believers. So we are a church marked by unity and care for each other. Look at verse 44 and let us take some time to examine this verse. It says, now all the believers, how many believers? All of them, not just some of them. The Bible is specific, and he says all of them at that place. He says, we're together and held all things in common. So before we see the church's generosity, what does Luke show us? He shows us the unity of the church, right? And he's telling us that because generosity doesn't happen, and it will never happen if the church is divided. It will only happen when the church is united. So generosity begins with what? Unity, which tells us something very, very significant about us, especially as we think about the idea of unity. You know what unity requires? If we're going to do all that we can to keep the unity of the church, it requires your full commitment. Unity requires the full commitment of every believer. That's what Luke says, right? It says all the believers were what? Were together. And that phrase, we're together, it's important. Why? Because it doesn't just speak about they were together in a place. No, it emphasizes their unity, that they were of one heart, one mind, of one accord. Everything that they did it together. That was their purpose. That's why God united us in his body, so that we could live this Christian life together, so that we could serve together, so that we could proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ together, so that we could care for one another together, so that we could love each other and love even the world together. So if we're going to keep the unity of the church, if we're going to be a unified church and a generous church, we must commit ourselves fully to the unity of the church. And I love the fact that Luke emphasizes that everyone was together. Listen, the church doesn't need spectators.